Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 2 of the basics of building an FTC robot. Last episode, we talked about the 3 different robotics programs FIRST has, the FTC regulations for a robot, and what you can do to get started in your building. But this episode, we're going to discuss how to design your robot. Here we go. Now, before we start, I want to clarify that this video is not telling you how to build your robot, but it will share what we Protostars have found works great for transforming thoughts into a fully functioning robot. We call this our engineering process. The first step of the engineering process is identifying the purpose of the robot. This should be clear. You are trying to score points by doing the special task from this season. In step 2, you consider how to accomplish the task. It's best to come up with many ideas so that if the first doesn't work, you can try something else. For step 3, you decide how to build the idea. It's helpful to build it from kit parts first as a proof of concept. Then later, if you want, you can design custom parts in CAD. We'll address this in a future episode. Step 4 actually happens during step 3. And for step 4, you think ahead. Consider potential issues so that when you encounter those issues, you know how to fix them. Step 5 also occurs during step 3. For step 5, communicate. If a few people design a drivetrain and some people design the special function without communicating, they likely won't connect well. This is why it is always helpful to have frequent team meetings to discuss where each project is in its process. Now, it's time to talk about things to decide early. One of the first things, if not the very first thing, is what kind of drivetrain do you want? Do you want large wheels to roll over obstacles? Do you want a small robot for maneuverability? Do you want mechanism wheels for ease of movement? These are all questions that you should answer before you start physically building anything. Another thing to decide early is what kind of parts you'll use, which we'll dive into in the next video, picking parts for your robot. Then, with the special functions, you need to consider the multiple ways of accomplishing the task. This is important to decide early, since it affects the size and shape of the entire robot. There are some consistent themes of FTC competitions. Frequently, a robot will need to be able to lift an item high, often 3 feet or more. Another common task is to pick up an item from one area of the field and place it somewhere else where it scores points. However, sometimes there are seasons that have new concepts. For example, in my first season on the team, Ultimate Goal, the robot had to shoot foam rings at least half the distance of the field. But first plans the fields so that you can't use the same robot every year. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the basics of building an FTC robot, and I hope to see you next episode. Thanks, and good luck building.
That worked good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Hi.
Hi.
Would you like us to stop goofing around at the end of the clips?
I mean, no and yes at the same time.
Okay. Hi, audience. You guys are awesome.
Are they
Follow us
though?
on Instagram and Twitter. That's what it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about YouTube?
Well, if they're watching the video, they should already be subscribed, right?
Not really.
Talking to them.
Oh, shut up. Okay, you can go away now.
Are you ready?
It's recording.
Oh! Yes! You're welcome, audience. Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 2 of the basics of building an FTC robot. Last episode, we talked about the 3 different robotics programs FIRST has, the FTC
Okay then. My mouse is very jittery. So